Hi everyone, Amy here with Amy Swears, and today I'm going to share with you an idea to use up some of those pattern paper scraps and get a two-for-one card. So I have this TBH U Rock, so to be honest, U Rock die from Paper Rose. I believe they're an Australian company. I love their dies, so I've accumulated a few of them so far. But here I've recently gone through and tried to organize my paper scraps. I put them all in different plastic folders, and I'm going to try and use them up. So I've gotten rid of a lot of my pattern paper. I gave it to a friend, and I have some still, and then I have these scraps. So I'm just kind of making a conscious effort to try and use this so it doesn't go to waste. I have this really cool, it's kind of like an embossed black and mint green scrap of pattern paper, and I'm going to use that for today's card. Now here's a photo of the finished cards to show you the direction that we're headed. Came together really quickly. I was able to combine it with other items from my crafty stash, and the best part is I got to use up some of this pattern paper, because if you're like me, you got too much of this stuff. So I'm taking this die on its maiden voyage. If it is still available, I will link it in the video description box below, but just use whatever dies you have. Think outside the box. Think what scraps you have, what dies you have, and how you can apply this technique to get a 2-for-1 card using up your paper scraps and what you have in your stash. But that being said, if it is available, I will link it in the video description box below. So I cut a panel of this down 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is US A2 size in inches, and I'm just lining this one up as straight as I can because I'm going to make it a 2-for-1. So I'm using my mint tape from Scrapbook. This is my favorite, and I'm going to run this panel through my die cutting machine off screen. Now I'm being very careful to not lose any of the little pieces parts, and you'll see why as I move forward with this technique, because I don't want to lose any of the little bits that go inside the O or the B and things like that, or the R. So I'm using my little tray here just to kind of hold all these little bits so I don't lose them as I'm working through the process here. You can use your jewel picker maybe to pick them up, but I'm going to use my fabulous little pokey tool that my friend Judy in Arizona made for me and sent me. I'm going to use that to just really kind of pry these off of my very well loved cut into die plate. I use a Spellbinders Platinum 6. I'm going to run this piece of cardstock through this checkered diamonds 3D embossing folder, also through my Spellbinders Platinum 6, and I'm going to create some dimension and visual interest on this white panel of cardstock. Again, same thing, 120-pound accent opaque, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. So this is going to create the background for one of the cards. On this one, I decided not to do the TBH, to be honest. I'm just going to use the U Rock. Now, I am using the panel, first of all, as a template to make sure that I line everything up correctly. So you can see I'm fiddling here a little bit, but basically I'm just lining this up, making sure it's nice and straight on the white panel, and then I'm going to use the openings on this as a template to make sure that I have all the letters nice and straight. Grabbed the wrong tool there a moment. I was going for my little tweezers. So I'm going to just kind of use these openings here after I'm done fiddling for 8 years. And I'm going to use some actually liquid glue. I know you're shocked. To kind of lay these down and basically just puzzle piece it in. And I'm using my magnets on my craft mat, super handy, just to kind of hold the two pieces together while I work. Now I don't want to damage the template because that is going to ultimately create my second card. So I'm being mindful not to get too much glue because I don't want oozage. I don't want to get glue where I don't want it, but I do want to be able to use it as a template. So this is a way to kind of use both sides to get a nice even line up with your letters and get them in the right place, but you can then take it off and use it to create a second card. Now that glass mat, you guys probably have seen me talk about it. I got it this year. It's from a small business in the U.S. called Glassboard Studios. It's actually a small family-owned business, and this glass mat is a game changer for me. So you guys know I'm always working with stencils. It does beautifully to hold down my stencils so I don't have to tape everything down. And then, as you can see, this is another purpose of it. It kind of just holds everything down right on the surface because the entire work surface is magnetized. And you can buy those really awesome ergonomic strong magnets also from Glassboard Studios, and that helps kind of hold everything in place while you work. So definitely a game changer for me. They're super amazing to work with. You can get different colors of the design. You could do custom design with your logo, different sizes. So definitely check them out. I will link them below in the video description box. And I do also have a coupon if you, I believe it's Amy's Wears 20. So follow the information below, expand and scroll down underneath the video, and you'll find my coupon to get 20% off in that entire store. So definitely check them out. They're an awesome company, and you guys know I love supporting small businesses and family-owned businesses and women-owned businesses and the like. So definitely check them out. Okay, now I got all this gluing done. I'm just going to carefully pull this up. I don't want it to leave it until it's 100% dry, just in case I did have any oozage. I didn't want to tear that. So I'm just kind of mindful and poking it back down. You can put some weight on it, like an acrylic block or something like that if you're worried about it, but it was pretty well stuck down. Now here I'm going to use some tape runner and then attach this outer portion onto just a plain white card base. So this one isn't textured. This is just a regular 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to use this tape runner just to attach that down, and then the white will show the To Be Honest, You Rock. It'll give it some nice contrast against that busy pattern paper where you can still read the sentiment on the front of the card. Now this is where all those little fiddly bits come into place. So you can leave it like this, but I like to use the opening bits from the R, the O, and the B. So here I'm just going to kind of place them back in. I am being a little bit mindful to make sure they match the pattern of the paper. So I want to make sure I'm using the right ones in the right spot. And this is the most fiddly bit, I guess, is just lining this back up. You could use a template. You could die cut it as well in white and just use that as like a go-to template if you're worried about lining up these little bits inside the letters. But honestly, it wasn't hard to eyeball it. So this, I wasn't worried about having a template. I was able to just, eyeball it and make sure it was lined up correctly. And I'm using the liquid glue and the pokey tool, or the end of my jewel picker as the little pokey bit to just kind of line it up and make sure it's ready to go there. So I'm just being very particular just to make sure it's nice and even. And then I have some resin droplets here, again with my jewel picker and this little tray and my jewel picker tool, and I'm going to put these in a smattering around the cards just to finish it off. So that's going to finish this. You get 2 for 1, and you can use up some pattern paper scraps and take it a level further with some embossing folders if you have some of those in your crafty stash. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.